بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على سيد الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. With you, I want to welcome our brother Hassan from Imam Masjid al-Ikhlas. Assalamu Alaikum.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله.
Thank you so much for joining us.
inshallah.
This is a discussion or educational video around common mistakes in Salah, and it's targeting imams or anyone who could lead Salah as an imam, to be aware of those mistakes. We will discuss some of them, and we will discuss other aspects of leading Salah. But since this is all about Salah and Quran, it made more sense for us to start with the Quran recitation. And we all know, mashallah, Brother Hassan has a beautiful voice and beautiful recitation. So we'll go ahead, inshallah, and start with the Quran recitation and then proceed, inshallah.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. يا أيها المزمل قم الليل إلا قليلا نصفه أو انقص منه قليلا أو زد عليه ورتل القرآن ترتيلا إنا سنلقي عليك قولا ثقيلا إن ناشئة الليل هي أشد وطئا وأقوم قيلا إن لك في النهار سبحا طويلا واذكر اسم ربك وتبتل إليه تبتيلا رب المشرق والمغرب لا إله إلا هو فاتخذه وقيلا واصبر على ما يقولون واهجرهم هجرا جميلا وذرني والمكذبين أولي النعمة ومهلهم قليلا إن لدينا أنكالا وجحيما وطعاما ذا غصة وعذابا أليما يوم ترجف الأرض والجبال وكانت الجبال كثيبا مهيلا إنا أرسلنا إليكم رسولا شاهدا عليكم كما أرسلنا إلى فرعون رسولا فعسى فرعون الرسول فأخذناه أخذا وبيلا فكيف تتقون إن كفرتم يوما يجعل الولدان شيبا السماء منفطر به كان وعده مفعولا إن هذه تذكرة فمن شاء اتخذ إلى ربه سبيلا إن ربك يعلم أن إنك تقوم أدنى من ثلثي الليل ونصفه وثلثه وطائفة من الذين معك والله يقدر الليل والنهار علم أن لن تحصوه فتاب عليكم فاقرؤوا ما تيسر من القرآن علم أن سيكون منكم مرضى وآخرون يضربون في الأرض يبتغون من فضل الله وآخرون يقاتلون في سبيل الله فاقرؤوا ما تيسر منه وأقيموا الصلاة وآتوا الزكاة وأقرضوا الله قرضا حسنا وما تقدموا لأنفسكم من خير تجدوه عند الله هو خيرا وما تقدموا لأنفسكم من خير تجدوه عند الله هو خيرا وأعظم أجرا واستغفروا الله إن الله غفور رحيم.
جزاك الله خير. Beautiful recitation, mashallah, tabarakallah, may Allah increase you. So, when I thought about this topic and based on the material that would be covered, I thought it would be best to do it in a masjid, in a mosque.
Yep.
And invite a'imma, anyone who leads salah, to be, to attend. The reason for that is, of course, the atmosphere, in a masjid, not like in a studio. But two, they can actually practice what they learned.
So people also, like the audience, they could learn straight away.
Yes.
Straight away, because it's always better to have like people, audience, and then straight away so they can ask or practice.
Yes, that's exactly right. And that was my plan originally. And when I tried to do this in a masjid, I worked with one of the masajid without names. And in the beginning, they said, yes, okay, good. And then they said, no, you have to have the imam with you. And then I asked the imam said, yes, good, let's go ahead and do it. But then they said the imam is not okay with it. I was like, you know what, I don't want to play this game.
Yeah.
I just do it in the studio.
Yeah.
And inshallah, people will benefit from it one way or another.
Inshallah.
So that was the idea behind it. So one of the things that over the years, going to masajid here in America, I noticed people choose mics to use for the masjid almost randomly, almost based on the cheaper product, the one that's easier to find and so forth. So for that reason, I want to say 85% at least of them, they have really mics that are really, really low quality. And the most common one, this is kind of funny, because most masajid, when they start, they try to learn from other masajid what they did and then repeat. But unfortunately, they would repeat what's not good as well, without thinking.
One thing that I really realized for like most of the masjid in US, actually, they try to have to buy some microphones that easy to set up. That's the first thing. Because if you use like a professional one, probably like you need a lot of things. like mixer and all of those audio interface.
Yes.
And which is a lot of people don't understand, like, how to set up this thing, especially if you have like an old-fashioned board. They don't even know about how to click on these.
Yeah,
and
they
this,
look
that.
all those buttons and they're whoa, what's all of this?
Mostly like that. So I've been invited to like some of the masjid over here, which is I found out that the mic sometimes, it's not meaning that the voice need a mic, but the thing is, in huge jama, we probably need a good mic, because sometimes when they put it like two down right here, it's so hard to hear, even they have a speaker.
You got it. That's exactly
Because the point is, they want to have a microphone that's easy setup. Like you just plug in, that's it.
Yeah.
Done. The job is done.
So they're not focusing on quality. Even though quality doesn't mean expensive or difficult, it can be still easy. It just requires either asking those who have the knowledge about this kind of technologies, or research it. So the most common mic that I see masajid have, which is the worst one, is around the ear mic. This is good for air controller, service desk,
Yes.
someone who takes calls and helps people over online. It's not good for masjid. So you have it. Number one is, if you're wearing something like this or a turban, you can't put it right. You can't. You're stuck.
That's true. That's true.
So
Yeah.
you
I
hold
agree
it
with
in
that. Yeah, I really agree with that.
you hold it in your hand. You're like, what do I do with this thing now? So I had to lead salah in a masjid with this kind of mic, and I wasn't wearing a turban. I couldn't put it, so I had to hold it in my hand. It was so sensitive with any movement. You hear it in the speakers. It was really annoying.
Yeah.
So for that reason, that mic is not for masajid. It's for service desk, air controllers maybe, or for gamers, if someone who's play games or whatever. It's not for masajid. Please, don't buy it anymore. Even though it's really cheap. Even the expensive one of the same style is still bad. It's not for masajid. That's number one. The second one, that's not as bad, but it still has a problem. Oh, one thing I forgot to mention about another problem with this mic. It's too close to your mouth. Even if you put it right here, it's too close.
Yeah.
There are cases when you wanna, while you're reciting Quran, when you recite at a very low level, Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen would be fine. But then if you're reciting and you get to a point where your voice gets high, this mic is too close. You can't do anything with it. It's right there. And that's why your voice becomes too loud. People may not like it.
Yeah.
And that's another reason not to use that mic, period.
Yeah.
So the second one that goes it's a little bit better, but it's still not for masajid.
But I want to mention one thing about
Please.
about that kind of mic. So
Yeah.
this is based on my experience using this kind of mic, which is good actually. Every time you go, it's people could hear it. But the thing is, let's say if the setup of the mixer or whatever there inside is not proper. So what happened is, if it's too high on gain, everything's the nose.
Yes.
The nose. I mean the breath. Everything in there.
I know.
Everything. You can barely hear your
Your movement when you're moving.
Yeah.
It goes. People hear it in the mic.
Yeah.
That's not what mic is for.
Exactly. That's the thing. Sometimes there is one level that you're not gonna use Quran the whole time, right? Sometimes you lift it up into the jawab style.
Yes.
Which is when you use that one, sometimes it's too noisy, or
Yes.
sometimes it's just too out loud.
Exactly.
Yes, too loud. And the most annoying thing is you can hear your
That's exactly right. I know.
Yeah. Your nose is the sounds of your nose exactly.
Yeah,
You can
your
hear
breath.
it.
You
Yeah,
hear
your
yourself
breath, yeah.
breathing. So that's why that mic is supposed to be. I don't know, if I have the option, I will go around and take it out of any mask and just throw it away, and then pay them for whatever they paid for it.
Yeah, it is because they don't have like right filters too.
Yeah.
Even though they have a little one, but it doesn't go into the wind things. Like
Once we started Salah, and the Imam, without naming the masjid, the Imam took the mic from me after I used that mic, but because I had it in my hand, I kept it away from me while I do Iqamah, because Iqamah is loud.
Mhm.
So I kept it that way, and I did the iqamah. When I finished, I gave it to him. He's like, we need another mic. We can't use this mic. So I said, throw it in the trash. So so he couldn't use it. He could not. It's also the mic is too long. It's in his room from when it's going into sujood, it hits the ground. It's not good. So yeah, the second one is the clip on. Clip on is not as bad, but it has the opposite problem. It's too far away from your mouth.
That's true.
So if you're reciting on qarar, you will not be heard. You can't, because it's too far. Unless you have a very deep voice, which is not all people have that kind of voice. So if you clip it here, it's too close. If you clip it here, it's too far. So this mic will also have its own problems. So it's good if you're going into a jawab or jawab and you're too high, and we'll pick it up. But if you're going on a qarar only, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم, it may not pick it up.
Yeah.
And then so you would have to hold it in your hand in order to take it away, which is not what you want to do while leading salah.
Yes.
So it could work for khutbah. If you're doing a Jum'ah khutbah,
that's true.
You could put it there and do a khutbah. It would work. You could also put it down there as a secondary mic.
Yes.
To pick up your voice when you're on ruku' and sujood. You say Allahu Akbar. People can hear you, but it doesn't have to be as clear as when you're reciting Quran.
Yes.
They just can't hear it. But it cannot be the primary mic, the clip-on. Now, these are the two that it's better not to use them, but if we have to, we can use the clip-on. The first one, there's no cases that it's good. Then we go to dynamic mics or the stand mic. So you would have a stand with the mic attached to it, where you adjust it, you move it around.
Yes.
And that would be the best for Quran recitation when you're leading salah. You would adjust it before you start salah. Make sure it's pick up your voice. You're able to move away from it when you go loud. You can go close to it again when you're reciting at a very low qarar.
Yeah.
So you have that control. You're not stuck with it. It doesn't follow you wherever you go, like the clip, like the around the ear. So that's the optimal option from different perspectives. One of them is the cost. It's not too expensive. And the second one, it's the usability. You attach it, you're good. Before you start salah, you adjust it to your height and and then you start salah. You're good right there. As I mentioned, the clip-on, you can have it as a secondary. So when you're reciting Quran, use the dynamic mic, and then when you're in sujood or ruku', this one will pick up the takbir, subhanallah. But then if you're in a masjid where they have a really good budget, you want to go with a condenser. A condenser is something like this, like this mic. This mic requires power. So in order to be able to use a condenser, you have to have a mixer or a phantom power device. I mean, it doesn't have to be a mixer. They do have a phantom power device.
So like
you can plug it.
Right?
And that gives power to it and would make it work even if you don't have a phantom power. Those mics give the highest quality with the pop filter in front of it. So if you go close, your breathing will not make it there. And the sound will come out right. Even if you go too loud, it still adjusts for. So there are lots of benefits to using a condenser. There are different types of it. I think it starts from maybe $50. It goes to a couple thousands. So it depends on the budget.
Yeah, that's true.
But that's I have not seen. I used one of those in a masjid once and was really good. But then they switched the board that didn't have phantom power, so I couldn't use it anymore. So that's for the mics and which mic to use. What's the best mic to acquire from the beginning? The second thing is vocal warm-up. So if you're going to the masjid and you know you're going to lead salah, and it's jahriya, meaning it's a fajr,
Yeah.
or maghrib or isha, where people will hear you recite Quran. It does not make sense to go there without doing a vocal warm up, and it doesn't have to be
Especially in the Fajr time.
yes,
Especially Fajr
yeah,
time.
yeah. You just walk up and your voice,
Yeah.
right?
Especially like that. Yeah.
So you wanna warm up your vocals, and there are so many ways. It's very easy. Even if you're on the way to the masjid, if you recite Surah An-Nas, Al-Falaq, and Al-Ikhlas, just repeat them a few times on the way at a different level, like a very qarar, then jawab a little bit, and then go back to qarar, just to keep it, to kind of get your vocal cords ready
Already. Yeah.
to recite. If you need a comprehensive vocal warm up, there are lots of them online on YouTube. There are coaches that teach voice and all that, and they do have vocal warm ups. So we should learn these techniques and teach it to others so they can use it if they're going to lead salah. If it's a surprise, like you're going there as just you want to pray and the imam wasn't there, that's a different story, right?
Yeah.
You have your excuse, right? And then another important thing, again, if you know you're going to lead salah, you should know what level you're going to start from. So if you start too low, you will have trouble recite the Quran, and people behind you may notice that.
Yeah.
Also, at the same time, if you start too high, people will notice that, and you will notice that because you'll have trouble. So while doing the warm up, you should try to figure out the level that you start with, where you're comfortable, where you can go to jawab and you're still comfortable. Maybe you can reach even to jawab and go back and you're still comfortable. So find that range. To find that range, you first need to find the qarar, and then once you find the qarar, you'll be able to get to the jawab, and then jawab without exhausting yourself.
That's true, Sheikh. That's true. Because one of my experience, actually, sometimes you have a sore throat because you drink too much chai.
Yeah.
Because it's milky
Or something cold.
Something cold, yes, something
ice
cold,
cream.
or those kind of sweet things. We probably have like a sore throat a little bit, but of course, to maintain the level of the first taken, like the qarar side is always kind of better to do it, not to go too high in the beginning. Otherwise, if you have a little problem with the throat, probably you won't make it to like the higher level, which is I really notice on that things. Sometimes once we are going to some places which is
like they have an event or something.
So they probably give us some sweet or some drinks or whatever. You cannot deny that things. So you're probably gonna go and eat it, but somehow right after that, the Isha is coming, and then you probably need to lead the salah. And somehow it's if you don't really maintain that kind of starting point, sometimes it's
you know what makes it even worse? Chocolate.
Really?
Yes, chocolate causes the throat to produce so much mucus, and that will cause you too much trouble. You will be like trying to clear your throat.
Okay.
Chocolate does that.
I noticed one thing, because mostly in US Muslim community is like a desi people, right? Mostly.
Yes.
So they serve a lot of
Sweets.
oily things.
Oh
and
yeah.
sweet.
Oh yeah.
Right, oily food, like name it, like curry things is mostly like maybe they put coconut things in there, and it's mostly like heavy food.
Yes.
And that's really affect my voice if I don't have like hot water or warm water for me. Sometimes it just stuck there.
That's it.
That's actually really
It's good for cars, not for humans.
Yeah.
So yes, I agree, and that's why if you're going to an event where you know that you'll be reciting Quran or doing nasheed, same thing applies, by the way. you want to make sure you can deny it or take it and don't eat it. Like they give you something with chocolate and you know this is going to be trouble. Jazakallah khair, take it and give it to somebody else. And we have lots of brothers, mashallah, that will take care of it for you.
MashaAllah.
So yeah, I wouldn't eat it. Same thing with greasy food that cause similar problems. Shy will cause the problem, but that's why I normally take ginger with honey. Ginger with honey doesn't cause this problem. It's good. Jazakallah khair. And then another one is about maqamat. Maqamat is melodies. So it's not required that you know it to be imam. But if you know it, you need to know how to employ it. I've seen this from lots of imams. They use maqamat without the knowledge of maqamat. They don't even know what maqamat is. But they're using it and they're using it the wrong way. So he would start with Rust, for example. And then a few minutes later, while he's still reciting the Quran, he would switch to another maqam. And then he feels like another one, and then he would switch to another one. And this switching in the middle of Quran recitation is not the right way. I'm not saying halal, haram now. I'm talking about, you're listening and he switches. You're like, why did he just change? He was doing great. Now I'm going to have to get used to the new way that he's just switched to it.
So it's all about preparance, right?
Yeah. You start with Rust, stay with Rust. Unless you're doing like in an event when you recite, you can't switch because you're reciting like a long surah or something. But if you lead in Salah and you started with Rust, which is the most common one, you stay with it for the rak'ah. If you want to switch, finish that rak'ah completely with it. When you go into sujood, the second sujood, when you're getting up, standing from it, the takbir for it, in that moment you switch the maqam.
Okay.
You switch maqam as you
raise up, right?
Yes. So you were doing Rust all the time, and when you want to switch to, let's say, Hijaz, you switch with that takbir. Allahu Akbar. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. You start with Hijaz. You prepare people, not surprise them.
Okay.
You could do the same thing with if you're leading Taraweeh. But with Taraweeh, because it's long, maybe both rak'at, you could do with the same maqam, maybe even 4 rak'at with the same, and then you switch later to keep it, more enjoyable. That's if you're aware of maqamat. If not, it's not a bad idea to learn it. Inshallah, we'll do a course on this, maybe in a masjid, because you do need people live to ask questions and practice.
Yes.
Where we can teach maqamat and all that, just the basic ones, the 8 ones. But switching maqamat in the middle of recitation is not a good idea. It's actually annoying. And then there is I've heard lots of imams do this. We call it mu'allaq or suspended. So you start at like qarar, let's say, and then you go up and you stay up. Not like how you normally do. You go up and you go down again. No, you stay up all the way to the end of the surah. So, for example, you're reciting Al-Fatiha, let's say. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. So I stayed up after I started with qarar, but when I went up, I stayed with qarar.
The rest of the jawab, right?
This is beautiful. There's but if you do this, and then you recite the second surah after Fatiha, when you finish the surah, second one, don't go into ruku' with the same mu'allaq.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
you want to go back to the qarar. So I said, let's say read al-ikhlas, for example. قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد الله أكبر. Now I'm going into ruku'. I didn't go Allahu Akbar. Now I went down back to the same level that I started with. Allahu Akbar. That's how you do it. Because this allows you to switch things after you start again with al-Fatiha. You don't go back to the same level again. You can do something else. You can switch maqam. But if you get stuck with it, you're stuck. You can't change. And that's an important thing. It's called mu'allaq or suspended.
Okay, mu'allaq.
And then I want to go over three common mistakes that I've noticed. And if you have more, of course, you're welcome to mention them. But one of them is unnecessarily prolonging takbir or tasbih. So the Imam, for example, starting Salah. And so takbirat al-ihram, he would go, Allahu Akbar. He doesn't know that there are people that already started Salah before him. As soon as he said Allah, people, Allah. So these people started Salah before him. I know in fiqh that's a problem. And you can find that out. But I'm not going to go over fiqh here. But that is a problem. Because people will start Salah before the Imam. So the way to do it is to make it short. Just precise. Allahu Akbar. You're good. People start Salah with you. No problems. You follow the same pattern throughout the Salah. Because you could go into sujood with this very long Allahu Akbar. Somebody already went in sujood before you. You could do a Sami Allahu liman hamida, a long one. Somebody already got up before you. So, to protect people and protect yourself from making this mistake, just keep it precise. Allahu Akbar, Sami Allahu liman hamida. That's it. There is no need for Sami Allahu liman hamida. There's no reason.
Right, it's so long.
Yeah.
Inshallah.
And that will cause this problem. Some people will disagree with me, which is okay, of course.
Yeah.
We can always go back to scholar fatwa and things like that, and then settle this. And then another one, word pronunciation problems, like
Makharij, right?
Yeah, makharij al-huruf. So some people, understandably, they have a trouble, pronouncing some letters. Like I hear this a lot. Instead of saying صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم, they would say sirata with the ta instead of ta. Especially in Surah Al-Fatiha in Salah, there are lots of opinions around it where it could actually invalidate Salah if you make mistakes in it. More so if the mistake changes the meaning.
Yes, that's really true. Yeah, that's really true.
Yeah.
But what I noticed actually, I've been teaching like a little bit of the keys over here,
MashaAllah.
which is the most problem that they get because they have like their native problems.
Yes.
Like their own language.
Yeah.
Like my language is totally different than the Arabic language.
Yes.
And some of our kids over here, of course, they grow with their own language. Like Vietnamese language, Chinese language, and Desi language, or whatever those kind of language, which is really affected their pronunciation. Which is mostly they don't really go into. Of course, those people who don't learn, but those people who learn, of course, they change it.
Yes.
But mostly like those people who don't really care about pronunciation and articulation, sometimes they just do like a alayhim, alaykum. That's how they do it. So this thing is really hard to change. Actually, it sounds like something that easy to change, but if you don't really pay attention on that and then keep on practicing on it, it's so hard for the kids to learn back because this is not what I used to do, because they always kind of using their muscle memory
Yes.
to do this kind of thing, which is like you suggest, of course, on this matter, we suggest always to go and learn from the
Yes.
scholar, from the one who knows
Yes.
the knowledge.
Most masajid, mashallah, have courses on this.
Alhamdulillah.
Yeah, so
mashallah.
tajweed.
Mhm.
So they would take them from zero to all the way to learning tajweed,
Mhm.
makharij al-huruf and all that. But like you mentioned, the native language impacts where people would say sirat al-lazina, za instead of la, da.
Yeah. Mhm.
And instead of ta, they would say ta. And instead of ba, they would say da.
Mm.
So these things, inshallah, can be fixed with training, like continuous. You have to continue until you get it right, and practice. When you recite Quran, pay attention to it. Make sure you get it right.
Mhm.
Especially for Imam again. If you lead in Salah, make sure you get this right.
Yes, mashallah.
And then the last one, which is not a common problem, but I've seen it, where the Imam, mashallah, hafiz, he has the entire Quran,
Mhm.
and sometimes even beautiful recitation, no mistakes, everything is good,
Mhm.
and then he would actually take the long highway.
Exactly.
And
Especially when it's busy and a lot of people.
Yes.
And then this is a kind of like an event things.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like even sometimes Fajr, people stop by the masjid to pray Fajr and then go to work immediately.
Yeah, that's true.
So they're in a hurry already. And the Imam, mashallah, enjoying himself and reciting like 2, 3, 4 pages in one rak'ah.
Mhm.
That's the opposite of what the Sunnah has instructed us.
Mhm.
Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam
Sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
instructed us to keep it moderate, where it's not too long, it's not too short either.
Mhm.
And because you have people behind you, sometimes sick,
Mhm.
sometimes elderly,
Mhm.
sometimes busy people with commitments, they need to go.
Mhm.
Sometimes you have a taxi driver who just with a customer
That's true,
in the
Sheikh.
taxi,
That
he
is
stopped,
true.
mashallah, this is really good iman. He stopped the
Alhamdulillah.
taxi and told
Yeah.
the customer, I have to go pray.
Yeah.
So you don't want that prayer to be long.
Yeah.
So just keep it, reasonably short.
That's really true.
Yeah.
But I got one feedback from, of course, Jama'ahs always have their own
Yes.
opinion about.
Yes.
Sometimes when you bring something, especially when they like to hear you a lot, and then let's say you bring it like reasonably short, which is like maybe probably like 2, 3 ayat, 4 ayat, maybe maximum 6 ayat, maximum. And then suddenly they come. You shouldn't recite like short ayat. But in my condition, of course, I would love to write a lot. But the thing is, how about other ma'mum?
Yes.
Do they enjoy, or do they have any circumstances that
Yes.
maybe that need to go quicker maybe than what we're supposed to do? But they're always like that. They're always like kind of some of the ma'mum just need to come. Oh, you should you should doing it like a longer one.
Yeah, I mean, I have to admit, like, mashallah, Imam Hafiz Mahmoud, Hafiz Mahmoud from Masjid Hamza,
Mhm.
I enjoy his recitation.
Mhm.
So I would say, go ahead.
And
But that's
more,
for
right?
me.
Yeah, that's
But we
really,
have older people that they cannot stand as long as I
Yeah.
can, for example.
like that.
So he's smart. He knows where's that balance,
Mhm.
and he would do the good balance. And I would enjoy, listening to Quran recitation.
Mhm.
At the same time, he wouldn't exhaust these people behind him.
Yeah.
So
MashaAllah.
yeah. So I see the problem that you have. But again, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam told us what to do.
Mhm.
Just keep it moderate,
Yeah.
and you're
But
good.
some people, they don't understand about it. Because of course, because of they are needing to listen to it.
Yes.
Which is actually, we respect those kind of
Yes.
opinion,
yes,
but
I do.
we have to think about others. In Jama, because we are in Jama, it's not only about me and you.
Yes.
If it's about you and me, just both of us praying together.
I would recite,
Exactly.
Ali Imran in one
Ali
rak'ah.
Imran. That's the thing. But somehow that's how it is. Of course, we're just human being. They like or dislike or whatever. It's like kind
Yeah.
of opinion.
We say in Arabic, رضا الناس غاية لا تدرك. It's impossible to satisfy everybody at the same time.
That's really true.
Yeah.
So, Sheikh, I noticed one thing about maybe the last point about,
Yeah,
on
go
here
on.
about I've been to some of the masjid, which is, of course, if you go some other masjid, no one knows you, so you just being a ma'mum in there.
Yeah.
So I noticed in Alhamdulillah, in Georgia, in Atlanta, which is we have a lot of Hafiz in here, which is
MashaAllah.
mostly young, right? Mostly
MashaAllah,
young,
yes.
and then probably they are good in recitation and they are good in memorize the Quran. And somehow I noticed something that because of he knows this kind of thing, so he will step forward that he think that he qualified to be an imam. You know what I mean, right?
I know.
So this has happened. I mean, it's not happened a lot, but some. I mean, he just being a hafiz, which is he just want to be an imam. So what do you think is the requirement to be an imam actually? Like we want to inspire the young people, right? Especially those people, the hot blood. So he want to show, right?
Yeah, I know.
I'm hafiz.
Yeah,
So
I see this during Ramadan all the time.
So what is your suggestion for the young imam actually?
So it's difficult because we want to encourage them, but doing something like this, and if we stop them from this, we will discourage them.
Yeah.
See what I say?
That's true. Yeah.
So we have to kind of strike that balance of how can we control that without discouraging them. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he used to treat a problem that is related to one or more individuals, he doesn't tell them directly. He would go and tell the group, tell everybody. So they will hear what he said, but he's talking to everybody, not only to them. He's not targeting them.
Yeah.
That way he doesn't discourage them. He doesn't make them feel singled out. So this is one way to do it. The other thing is, and I've seen some masajid, some of them, mashallah, they have really good management. They have a list of who can call adhan. They say, if this guy is here, this brother is here, he will call adhan. If he's not, then this brother. And they have a list, sometimes 10, sometimes 12, a list of brothers. And if before you call it, you see, is brothers all here? Brothers all? Yeah, please God. And you sit down. The same thing could happen for leading Salah. So the masjid know who's qualified to lead Salah. They said the official Imam is brother so and so, and they say do the same thing with that paper with the names in it. If that Imam is not there, then find brother so and so. If he's not there, brother so and so. So I think this will give you a base to say, are you brother so and so? I'm sorry, they said this is the management. They said it's brother so and so, kind of brother. You know what I mean? So it's not your fault. Just put it in the management. The management said this, and that's what we have, and the brother is already there. So, alhamdulillah, bismillah. The way it's they don't look at you like, man, it didn't let me lead Salah. No, management didn't let you.
Yeah, that's the thing. Which is if we come back to with the seerah actually, during the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam before he told that Abu Bakr to lead the Salah, right? And then what happened is, what was Umar the one who led the Salah, and then because Umar's voice was like out loud, and then the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam noticed that he's not Abu Bakr. And then he going out, where is Abu Bakr? You have to lead the Salah. So after me, you are the one you will be taking the Imam position. But this is Sunnah because it's coming from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, which is good if the masjid has that kind of management.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which is if this main Imam is not here, so this is the guy. If he's not, this guy is here, or the other guy is not here, then maybe somebody else could step up.
At that point, anybody. But you go over the list. And it doesn't have to be comprehensive. Maybe 2, 3, 4 names, and more than likely one of them will be there. You're not gonna put someone who lives out of state or something, You put people that normally show up. Do you know if any other mistakes that we need to mention here? Any common mistakes?
Well, for the new Imam, probably I think it's good to know on this thing. I mean, from other side of somebody else's perspective about to being an Imam, alhamdulillah, which is of course, being an Imam is not just to lead the Salah, right?
Of course.
Of course, you have to understand what is Imam is actually. If you don't really know about this one, of course, even though that you do have like a good recitation to lead the Imam, but if you don't actually know about what is the responsibility of the Imam, Of course, those kind of thing is really important.
Yes.
Probably for me, before I step up to be an imam, or maybe others too. I mean, like the rest of the imam, they know about the rules to be imam. It's not
Yes.
just stepping up and then he don't even notice about the responsibility being an imam. Sometimes, you made a mistake. What is the consequences of making a
Yes.
mistake? Because you are an imam now.
Yes.
You're an imam. Of course, the rest.
You have to know the fiqh.
Exactly. But somehow, of course, for those like a young imam just graduate maybe from the Hafiz school or whatever, please go ahead and find out that what is the best way to do it. I mean, learn the rules, but the fiqh to being an imam. That's the only thing I think.
Absolutely.
today.
Absolutely. Jazakallah khair, brother. I really enjoyed this podcast.
Nice to
and
meet you, mashallah.
inshallah, it will benefit the community. At the same time, if you watch this video and you feel that we made mistakes, please let us know. This is deen. It's not a game. So if we made mistakes, by all means, let us know. If you think we should have added more things, let us know. If you benefited from it, let us know, or at least make dua for us. Jazakallah khair. I think these points are important, and if you have questions at any time, you find us. You can drop a comment or just contact me if you know me directly, or you know Imam Hassan directly. Jazakumullah khair for watching, and we will inshallah get with you again with a different podcast in the near future. Assalamu Alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam.